Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Garrett Educational Center for Main Street Media's new segment, where today we're starting the public square.
Let's go.
We're going to talk all things Garrett County. We've got our man Chris Elliman with us here, the judge executive. We're going to talk to him. But this is sponsored by the Garrett County Chamber of Commerce, and it's a good opportunity for folks, if you have questions for us, go ahead and ask them. You can ask anything. We don't have to answer, but you can ask anything that you'd like to do. But we just want to, we're going to focus today a little bit on kind of the state of the union and the things that's been going on this past year. But we're also going to talk a little bit about the elections coming up in 2026. We've got some big things in store, as I think we're going to have all the magistrates and different folks that we're going to be able to talk to here and there going forward to get you prepared for elections and primaries.
And I tell you, we're starting off a new series. We might as well start with the top dog.
We're going to start with the top.
We're starting with the top dog in Garrett County.
I've got lots of questions for him, none of them political, but I have lots of questions for him. So when we come right back, we're going to meet with the judge, Chris Elliman, Rue Elliman, for all you folks. Main Street Media on Golden Lion Sports Network, live from the Countryside BP studios.
Bob Allen is Danville's Dealmaker. Save more on Bob Allen's winning selection of new and pre-owned vehicles. Shop on lot or online at boballenmotormall.com. Bob Allen is a proud sponsor of Garrett County Athletics.
Here we believe in more than just banking, we believe in building legacies.
We're here to walk alongside you, on the fields, in the stands, and in life.
Supporting Garrett County Athletics means investing in our future leaders.
First Southern National Bank, financial wisdom, flourishing lives.
Allison is hiring. Big benefits, real growth, and a team that sees you in our future. Apply now. On Facebook, give us a call or just stop in. Allison Abrasives. Opportunity starts here.
The Garrett County Chamber of Commerce, where business meets community. Business and community members alike can get involved, stay informed, and take advantage of helpful insights. Supporting local means a healthier community. Sound good? Then the Garrett County Chamber of Commerce is for you.
At Danville Office Equipment, schools and businesses, large and small, count on us every day, and so can you.
We're proud to be your trusted partner, providing office solutions and supplies built on service, a smart approach, and great teamwork. Danville Office Equipment, Danville, Lebanon, and Somerset.
At Farmers National Bank, our roots run deep in this community, cultivating opportunities and personal and business growth with people you know and know what's important to you. Farmers National Bank, your lifetime bank.
Faces you know, a name you can trust. Weichert Realtors, Ford Brothers Auctioneers. From auctions to dream homes, farms to business properties, no one knows the area better. Weichert Realtors, Ford Brothers Auctioneers in Lancaster can help you.
Welcome to Katie Farthing State Farm,
where personal service is alive and well.
Not just a policy, help when it matters most.
So, what can we do for you? Your needs, your coverage, Katie Farthing State Farm.
Buy local, eat well at Marks Berry Farm.
We're growing and we need you. Great people.
Great job.
Come be part of our exciting future.
Come taste for yourself or shop online. See our story at marksberryfarm.com.
At Central Kentucky Federal Savings Bank, we understand the meaning of commitment, hard work, and extra effort. Just like our Golden and Lady Lion teams, we're proud to be part of the tradition that makes our community special. Central Kentucky Federal Savings Bank, your hometown friends, your hometown bank.
Safe, secure, Docubit. Introducing DataBot, a precision digital destruction tool that protects your confidentiality and allows for sustainable device recycling. Secure document and digital destruction by the area's premier data protection service. Call Docubit.
Nothing beats the hometown taste of Lee's famous recipe in Lancaster. Go Lions!
Central Kentucky Ag Credit, your hometown team for farm, land, and operating loans. And yes, we're your home loan lender too. Buying or building your dream home in the country? We've got you covered. Find us online at agcreditonline.com.
Choosing the right realtor is like sinking the winning shot or scoring the game-winning run. If you're buying or selling real estate in Garrett or Central Kentucky, give me, Whitney Ellis, a call for the win. Good luck to the Golden Lions and Cougars this season.
Sutton Pharmacy,
Free delivery, easy in and out vaccinations, locally owned. Now that's what I call a hometown pharmacy.
Sutton Pharmacy, friendly service from people you know.
Founded by Kentuckians for Kentuckians. At Whitaker Bank, we believe strong communities start with people who care. Everyday banking to planning for your future. You can trust our team to reach your financial goals. Whitaker Bank, uniquely Kentucky. Member FDIC.
You're watching the Golden Lion Sports Network.
Welcome back, folks, here on Main Street Media for the Public Square. It's Dr. Caleb Gresham, Jeff Jacobs here with our main man, the judge, Chris Elliman. Thanks for joining us, my friend.
Appreciate it.
Thanks
for
probably,
having me.
You've these last 14 days.
He's got a lot of rest.
You haven't had a lot of stuff going on, all right?
It's been a long 2 weeks.
So before we go into that, I got to tell you, I let my dog out the other night, and it was almost dark, and I see this truck coming. It's got a plow on it. I'm like, man, I sure appreciate them coming up through here. And they turned right there in front of my house. I'm like, is that Rue? And Rue was driving the car. I went inside.
So if I hit your mailbox, I apologize.
I think it's what he was saying.
I apologize.
Yeah, I'll send you a dog. So I went inside. I told my wife, I said, I just saw the judge drive by my house. So, you know, that's really cool.
It is. I want to say, too, I mean, you look, and I understand this is a big ice storm, and we've had trouble getting it cleared down to blacktop. But I will say, surrounding counties, I've been at the judges' conference for 2 days, and the surrounding counties, all the judges asked us, you know, how are y'all getting this stuff off? How are you getting your roads in such good shape? Now, granted, we had some that was worse than others.
Yeah.
But we have. The road department's been phenomenal, and they always have. I mean, they've done a great job. And another shout out to Sammy Marcy kicked in.
He did.
You know, he helped. He had his Bobcats out. Randy Broadus got out with us, helped clean the north end. Kay Hall, Leonard Harrison, Marksbury brought food up to us while our men was out. So I just want to thank everybody, and I want to thank the community for being patient and, you know, tolerating us being out on the road, especially late at night. But we did all we could do, and I'm very proud of the crew that we have.
Well, Chris, one of the things, and we're going to talk a lot about this, is what makes Garrett County so special. And, you know, this was maybe a historic storm. You know, I've talked to people I'm 50 years old, a little bit older than me, and they're like, I can't remember the amount of ice we had with the temperatures we had. And it has just created this issue that you know, people haven't seen before. And exactly what you're talking about is, you know, your road department has great leadership. They have great work and great commitment. And you're right. I saw a lot of people on social media asking, what's Garrett County doing? Because when I'm driving through Garrett County, it looks different. And then secondly, how cool is it? You know, Scott was kind of giving you a hard time, but man, how cool is it to have the leader of the county getting out and kind of doing the work, helping with the work. I've seen a lot of your magistrates out doing that as well. So it's just kind of real neat to see the community come together. You're talking about Leonard and making sure there's food and things like that. Just everybody coming together for the common good.
Well, that was my backhanded compliment. That's how I complimented you. But, you know, so I've always heard, I was born January 1st, 1977. I've always heard, when I tell people the storm of 77, that they went one day in January and was out. And it was because, and I've heard lots of folks, my parents included, say this is very similar to what that was. He said because, you know, we got some ice and snow, but it got so cold and it stayed so long. And we only, I think we've got like half an inch, 3/4 inch of ice, but the snow that was already there, it turned ice.
True. And I'll give you a little breakdown on it. On that Saturday, we come in at noon. And we started scraping, treating the roads and stuff, and we had it under control. Well, fast forward till it was probably midnight, 1 o'clock, it started raining, raining pretty hard, and Kenny Creech, the road foreman, and I was on Polly's Bend on the north end, and we were scraping. There wasn't much coming up, and I said, well, the sleet and rain will leave a little blanket. And about 2 o'clock, I sent the guys home and said, get about 4 hours sleep, we'll get back up here and we'll hit it hard. Now, did I make the right decision? I don't know. You know, would it change stuff? But I knew we was going to have to be out all day Sunday and all night. So I wanted to give them a couple hours of sleep, and we hit it hard. And I thought we could get back on top of it for the cold weather. Another challenge, you know, when you look at salt, we used probably over 350 tons of salt. I mean, we're low on salt now, and the whole state, nobody can get salt. But we still have some. But below 20 degrees and 15 degrees, salt don't work.
That's right.
And what we did scrape, you know, was able to get off there. That night, it turned right back to you know,
Yeah.
slick and ice. So we pulled out, you know, I think it speaks volumes when you look at, you know, even with me being out, my magistrates being out. I mean, that's what we've done, this administration, tried to set expectations of what the people expect out of elected officials. And I think this speaks volumes of what we've tried to do and what we've tried to do over the last 3 years.
Perfect example of servant leadership.
Yeah, no doubt. And one of the things you've done, particularly since you started, is you've been very active on social media.
Oh, yeah.
And so you guys, and I know Glendon does it and others, where they take pictures and show just the status of what's going on. And so folks that haven't been out of their house can see what's happening and see the progress and know what's happening from that
I think it does help, because especially when people get up early in the morning and travel to work. I mean, that gives them a plan of action to try to, you know, go to work, or give them a plan to be safe or leave earlier and stuff like that. So, you know, that's our whole goal on that end. But I'm very appreciative of everybody.
Listen, in Garrett County, folks may not, that don't travel all the aspects of Garrett County, there's a lot of roads.
Over 300 miles.
I mean, Scotty Merida used to talk about when he was the transportation director, how many miles all the school bus drove in one day, and it's astronomical. And so if you see that you all are over 300 miles that you're having to, and not all of those are easy.
Well, and I think that's a good point. We're a rural community, so a lot of these are backcountry
Yes, they
roads.
are.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of hills, and I mean, it's tough.
It's tough.
And a lot of drivers, I mean, it's dangerous when they're out there. So,
well, kudos to you and
luckily,
your team.
knock on wood, we hadn't had any damage as far as, now we
Thank
tore
goodness.
up some cutting hires on tractors, you know, trying to scrape the road, but other than that, we've been fortunate, and I just want to thank everybody.
No doubt.
So, you know, when we look back at 2025 and all the great things that happened inside Garrett County from the county's perspective, you know, a lot of work with the highway department.
Absolutely.
That kind of went through. And one of the things, as Scott alluded to, I was looking back at how well you do communicate with the constituents, with folks in Garrett County, whether it be widening curves that community members have expressed some concern about, or whether it be the R-cut design on the northern end, or, man, this blacktopping that occurred this summer. That's something you had really been pushing for a lot, Chris.
Absolutely, and you know, we're in District 7 under the Transportation Cabinet, but I mean, you take Highway 52, should have been blacktop years and years ago. You know, we got it blacktop. You take 27 from 34 all the way to town, we got it blacktop. R-cut, what was it, maybe $2.2 million. You know, and I know that was controversial. You know, I didn't really know the full scale of it, of how it was going to work and stuff. Luckily, it does appear that it is working. I mean, we've seen accidents now. And here's the important thing for people to understand, not to get off track, but that R-cut wasn't put in to say that that's going to stop accidents.
Right. That's right.
We're hopeful it stops fatalities.
Sure.
I mean, we can't control how people drive.
Right.
It's a straight stretch. I mean, it's a tough part, busy intersection. But it has, you know, it has worked on that end of it. So, but yeah, the Transportation Cabinet, they've been fabulous. And while we're getting into it, I had a key point there. You know, you look at the bypass, it's in the final phase.
Oh, let's go.
As far as design.
Oh, yeah.
So I know I've had several phone calls in the last 2 to 3 weeks where people have been contacted, you know, to sit down. So I think they're in the process of starting to look at buying right-of-ways and having that conversation with people. And I want the audience to know, you know, any questions or anything, any doubts. I spoke to a couple down on the north end there the other day that had some questions and concerns. Give me a call anytime, you know, and I'll reach out and try to get those answers for you. You know, it's one of them, we need the bypass, but we don't want to interrupt or put a burden on anybody that it's going to, you know, pass by.
So take that a little step further, Chris, about the impact of the bypass for Garrett County, as well as, you know, how great that all that blacktop and how nicer it made the Garrett County as a whole.
Well, when you look at the bypass, I mean, y'all come through and got bus routes that go through the city of Lancaster, you know, at 3 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's backed up from the town square all the way to McDonald's.
The metropolis of Lancaster is what I always say.
And I mean, when you look at it, you know, trying to get companies to invest in Garrett County, you've got to have nice roadways. You've got to have transport, the way they can get around. Big trucks can't get through Lancaster. I mean, you take Rumpke's, one of our big ones that come through town. it's hard for them to get through. So, I mean, this opens up everything for us. I mean, it'll really, I feel it'd be the turning point. Now, a lot of people's got concerns. You know, they think about a bypass. Well, will that leave the city of Lancaster as a ghost town? Well, historically, when you look at other counties that put a bypass in, that makes your city grow. So, I mean, I'm a true believer of that, and we're not here to change the foundation. We're just willing to grow with it. So, but you take 2752. Y'all know, y'all drove down it, and you know you hit a pothole and it bust your tire. So I mean, we've been blessed on that end. I mean, it's been a long time coming. What, the bypass been talked for 20-something years. Luckily, you know, with the IDA and my good friend Anthony Roy, you know, us going to Frankfurt and really advocating for it, and we finally got it fully funded, and it looks like it's well in its process.
That's exciting.
It is exciting times. One of the things, Chris, I noticed, you mentioned IDA board and economic development. You had a really cool announcement a couple of fiscal meetings ago.
We did.
Right.
When you look, I invited the new company that bought the 11 acres there on 39, like you're going to the high school there. They bought the 11 acres, S&L contracting, signs and lines. They got a contract with the State Department, you know, as far as signage on state highways, and I actually think Tennessee, there's other states involved that they deal with. But I mean, it's a big investment, starting out with 20, 25 employees, going to build a 10,000 square foot facility, hopefully by this spring. And then additionally, each year they plan to grow by 15 employees each year going forward. So
That's a big deal.
That's huge for us. I mean, when you look at that, and you go even on Doty Lane, when you look at that, you know, the new sawmill expected to do $10 million a year in revenue. We recruited them to come. So I mean, we're seeing. Well, I brought it up in the court meeting too. When you look at our occupational tax, I know a lot of people don't like hearing this, but when you look at our new enrollment, we added over 400 accounts this year.
Yeah.
As far as new businesses, new
That's
employees.
Great.
Now, is that maybe a branch of where we're, to give you a breakdown, when we come into this, especially on the occupational 2% net profit tax, we was having trouble getting the information out to these companies, you know, and even CPAs to even know that, you know, the tax was in Garrett County. So we spent $2,500 and gained over $1 million in occupational tax. Just by spending $2,500.
It's a pretty good investment.
Huge. This year we're on pace to even do better this year than what we did last year. And it's just the small things that you can do. It ain't about spending the money. You just got to be focused and willing to do the small. I mean, be open-minded, and some of the small things turn out great. So.
Well, and before we go any farther, you went up and I guess you filed again. You know, nobody's coming against you, so congratulations.
I did, and I'm going to be honest with you, and I think I spoke about this the last time I was on y'all's show. You know, I come in with the mindset that I was going to come in, had the ideas, and from day one I was going to take off running. We was going to make change. We was going to do it. I got humbled real quick. You know, there's a lot more to it. And you know, I don't want to be a downer, but we spent 3 years cleaning this thing up. And now we're finally at a point where we can see a light, and we're going to start moving forward some of our vision going forward. And I'd like to hit on that later on, you know, absolutely. As we talk. But just to give you a little reference on that, when we come into office, you come in January. So we work 6 months off the previous administration's budget. Then we have to write our own budget. You know, we wrote over I think it's $1.4, $1.5 million. That's nothing. All our money comes out on the front end. We was broke. Fast forward today, we got $8.1 million in the general fund.
Wow.
You know, a lot of people say, Rue, you shouldn't say that. But I mean, that's a testament of what this court and myself and my administration, Todd, Jennifer, Kristen, that's what we've made focus to get point. But now here's another reality that we're not a piggy bank. We're not up here to stack money back. This is taxpayers' money. So now we got to have a direction how to invest that to make Garrett County better. And we have a vision with that. We're looking at putting 2 parks, one on the north end of Garrett County, one in Paint Lick, Cartersville area for our kids, maybe a walking trail. I mean, we have a lot of stuff that we're looking at to move forward. And we're finally in a position that we're able to do that.
Well, and you know, the court is just like the school system. Everything we do is on the back of taxpayers, whether it's
absolutely.
local, state, or even on the federal level. So, man, I love, you know, how you've been able to be good stewards of the resources that you've been blessed with.
A lot of people ask questions, Rue, how'd y'all go from that to that in 3 years? And I think y'all gonna have Kevin on here, you know, here in a bit. But you look at the county clerk, Kevin Montgomery. You take Willie Skeens, that's the sheriff. Chris Whitworth now is county attorney. Brian Sweetie, PVA. You know, Dana's at the Judicial Center. It's a little different under AOC, but I met with them when I come in. And the only way that we could get to that point was that everybody be on board. So we sat down and we broke down every budget. We broke down to where wasteful spending, and everybody was on board. And I think, you know, Willie's going to be coming in a few weeks there for the excess fees. This is money that the court allocates them to spend. County clerk, same way. They do such a good job. They turn over excess fees to us that they didn't spend that they could because the court allocated. But that, I think that shows what we committed to 3 years ago. I mean, yeah, could they spend the money? Absolutely. And there's nothing we could say. But I think that speaks volumes of how we got to where we got. And it's a full team effort. Yes, did we cut wasteful spending? We didn't cut services. And in my opinion, when you identify where the spending's going, then you can provide a better service. And that's what we've done. So, and that's why we try to be so transparent. I know y'all, we built the website. I got every agenda, every court minute, everything. We know where every penny, down to the penny, is spent on county government. So anybody got questions, you come and I'll show you exactly on paper. But that's how you save money. You got to identify where money's being spent before you can save it. So in testament to all of them, they've done an outstanding job.
The proof is in the pudding, so to speak, right? You know, we say all the time, a statement without a fact is an opinion, but a statement with facts, I mean, you can't argue with, right? And those speak for themselves. You've mentioned working at, you know, going to Frankfurt, and kind of talk to us about the role that you play with our state legislators, or even our federal legislators.
Well, even on that, I mean, I was with Jonathan Shell this morning at the, you know, the judges conference, and you know, I think he speaks volume, or he spoke this morning and spoke from the heart, to be honest. One of the best speakers. Jonathan's really good at just speaking on that end of it, not having a script. But you know, nobody that's on the elected officials are doing it for the money. We do it because we love this community, and I think that's where you see results. You know, and I'll be honest with you, and a lot of people like Rue don't say that. Look, I'm not worried about your vote. Y'all put me in to do a job, and I'm going to do it. Now, will that make everybody happy? No, I understand that. You know,
we understand that.
I got humbled to that real quick.
We understand.
But they trust me to make the decisions that need to be made that best benefits this. So you look at Jonathan, what he's doing at Ag Commissioner. Mark Metcalf spoke there yesterday, doing a phenomenal job, getting a lot of money back from the treasurer out to the people where it's deserved. David Meade. You know, I've talked to him a lot over this session here. We got a couple bills coming out that he's looking at to try to, you know, look at helping counties and stuff, jail bills and stuff. But, I mean, they do a phenomenal job. And I know a lot of people look at it and don't see, you know, some of the inside stuff they do. But they work hard for us. And really the relationship, that's how we've got to. Talking about road, you know, road infrastructure, all that. Andy Barr, close friend of mine, first one that called me when I won the judge election. He just got $1 billion to the city of Lancaster for sewer and water.
That's huge.
It's huge for us. I mean, as far as infrastructure, that's a big deal. And you know, having that close relationship with all of them has meant a lot for me. And then they're mentors to me. Y'all know I come from a roofing company. You know, I know business, but I didn't know politics, and politics is not my thing. But they've been really good mentors to really teach me how to do this. And a lot of my questions, you know, it's a lot easier when you got somebody that you can call.
No doubt.
That will help you through it. And even, you know, surrounding judges. I mean, I've lead Judge West, a close friend of mine, Reagan Taylor out of Madison County. Both of them been huge mentors of mine. to help me get through this. Because I'll be honest, when I walked in, I didn't know anything. I didn't. I knew business, but I didn't know the structure of this.
Yeah, but you know, it's important to kind of build that network and
absolutely.
kind of have that support. So you've talked about, you know, the Garrett County's in as great a shape right now as I can remember it. So looking at the future, looking at what the next 6 to 9 to 12 months, maybe the next 4 years of your next term looks like, Chris.
Well, I think it's big when you look at the business thing. You know, I'm out daily recruiting businesses. Now, are we looking for the 1,000, 2,000 employee facility? No, we don't have the infrastructure. But, you know, 100 to 500 employees, I'm on them every day. Yeah. I'm recruiting everywhere I go. You know, I'm telling them, check out Garrett County. Yeah. Another thing we didn't get, we have the big RGL, Rock Castle Garrett Lincoln. We own 1,400 acres. It's a mega site. You know, the state gave us, David Meade was huge on getting us $62 million on buying this thing. That changes the whole region. Right. And we're a part of that. And really the big deal with that is we get a 33 and a 30% off anything on that. And when you look at that, a mega site, you're looking 4,000 or 5,000 employees. Right. You're looking at a Toyota, you're looking at a, you know, industry on that level of it, so it's huge.
And we had David on at one of our ball games recently, and he said something is right on the cusp of kind of being announced from that perspective. So great for Garrett County to be a part of that regional.
Yeah, and I've spoke to other surrounding capital investment companies that's very interested. I think some stuff's going to come out here towards the end of the month that I can't announce, but hopefully that goes through, and if it does, I think everybody in Garrett County will appreciate that, and it'll benefit everybody in Garrett County.
Oh, yeah. Again, folks, this is the public square. We've got the judge with us is Chris Elliman, and he just finished his first 4 years, getting ready to take on his next 4 years. And, you know, at any point, did you ever see yourself in a spot to where, like, when did you think, man, this might be something I want to get in there and get involved with?
Honestly, I never seen myself on it. There was some stuff that happened, you know, in the past that y'all have known me for a long time. And I'm one of these, if I'm willing to step up and voice my opinion, I'm one of these, I'm willing to do what it takes to try to fix it. And that's where I was. I didn't agree with a lot of things that may have been happening. Whether I was right or wrong, you know, I seen it in that direction, and I figured the only way that I could try to help.
That's right.
And even going back, y'all remember when I opened my roofing company.
Oh, yeah.
This community put me on their back.
Right.
They did. They got me to where I'm at.
Yeah.
I tell the good Lord every night and every morning, you know, I question, not really question, but, you know, why did you bless me so much? You know, but this community carried me from the get-go and made me who I am. And this is a way I could give back to them and try to help on that end of it. So,
well, and then before we go any farther with this, talk a little bit about your parents. I mean, you've got two of the finest folks ever. I know your mom's been struggling with some health issues, but, you know, growing up, I, you know, played ball with Johnny, and I can't tell you, I probably never played a baseball game I didn't see your parents at. So, you know, that's been a huge deal for you, obviously, and your
and I
brothers.
think that for what job I'm trying to do speaks volumes of the way me and my brothers was raised by my parents. Pops is doing good, really good. I know he wants to get out of the house more. You mentioned Mom. We've been dealing with some medical stuff there, been in Cleveland for a while. She's back home, doing better. We've had some good reports, but still got a long road ahead of us. But we appreciate all the prayers and all the texts and phone calls, and we're thankful for that.
Continue prayer.
Well, I saw John E. and asked him, I said, are you as ready for this cold streak to get over as your brother? He says, yes. So I think his HVAC, he's been pretty busy as well.
Absolutely.
Been pretty. So when you got in, and you first got in, and again, we all, when we take new jobs, there's things like, man, I remember the first day as a DPP, somebody called and said, I need X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, all right. And then I hung up the phone, like, how do I get that? You know, like, you got to figure out that stuff. What were some things that just, you know, people may not think about that kind of caught you off guard? You're like, wow, I didn't realize, you know, this was.
Well, just the everyday protocol. You know, I go in and I'm like, I'm going to change the world. It don't happen like that. I got 5 members on the court that dictate, you know, what I can do on that. I think just being around when you look at EMS, emergency management and stuff like that, I've never been around that. And to really get in that circle and try to understand it, it was tough. I mean, we get open records requests every day. I'm like, oh no, I don't know the answer to these. I mean, it was a bundle of stuff. Just getting the daily routine and really getting the feel of how to do the job and what I was allowed to do and the restrictions of it, and you know, the KRSs and the law on that end of it. But it's a tough job, and I'll be honest with you, it's probably the toughest thing I've ever done.
Oh, I'm sure.
To try to tackle, and I think it's one of them that no matter how long I stay in this position, you know, yes, I filed to run again. Hopefully, we accomplish a lot in the next 4 to 5 years that, you know, hopefully I can turn it over to somebody else, and they keep pushing us forward. One thing I'll say about that, they'll have the opportunity to go forward and not step back.
That's good.
I promise.
Yeah,
But we always want to leave it better than what we
Absolutely.
found. That's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's talk a few more things. Anything that we missed there? I know you.
Well, I want to speak when we talk about the financial thing. One thing I missed, you know, right now financially we're better shape than we've ever been. We got more money than the past 25 years. But what the court did last, you know, in 2025, we paid out all the county debt except for one bill, and it's on a bond. We can't pay it till 2028, but. You know, we paid all the county debt off.
That's fantastic.
And we got the money. I was upset because we couldn't pay the, you know, the other thing off. But, you know, the money's there. We just bought new vehicles for the road department. We're paying for them. Bought a new ambulance. We paid money for that. So, I mean, to me, that's the biggest thing. Right now, we're in a position that we can move forward.
Yeah.
And that's my big focus. When you look at the bypass, and I spoke to the mayor and the city about this, we have to prepare ourselves to be ready for when that comes, because I'm 44 years old, and for 44 years we've been behind the 8 ball.
That's right.
When you look at this, and this is the opportunity with Andy Barr and David Meade and Jonathan and Mark being in the positions they've in and the help we have an opportunity to get ahead of the 8 ball, and we have to take full opportunity and do that. So.
Yeah. It is unique, you know, you mentioned that. I mean, something as small as Garrett County, as far as statewide, and the elected officials that we have at the state level.
Some pretty cool
I
representation.
don't know that anybody could really ever say that they've had anything.
It's phenomenal.
We went back and looked. We couldn't find when we've got 2 of the 5 constitutional. We couldn't find that that's ever happened before.
Yeah.
So pretty cool.
Well, you look at us as population. When I come in, I thought we was a little more, but we was right under 17,000. Now we're up 18,300, a little over. So I mean, we're growing.
Yeah.
You know, we're over $1 billion as far as property values and stuff, as far as the PVA. I mean, we've grown over the last 3 years, and I know it's hard for people to really understand that and say, "Oh, them numbers, no way." But I mean, we've come a long ways.
That's right.
And not that we've done it all. Now it was processing even before I come in, but I think that, you know, the acceleration, and you're starting to see the numbers now really come to tuition. So.
Well, I mean, we're super excited about this stuff.
Absolutely.
I know we talk about it all the time. Again, this is the Public Square folks here on Main Street Media with Judge Executive Mike Grimes is in here giving you props about taking care of the roads, and we sure appreciate you doing that. And
well, I'll hit on one more thing.
Yeah, go for it. We got time.
You know, when we talk about the financial and where we at, we've lowered county tax rate the last 3 years we've been in office. Now, a lot of people look at that and say, well, values went up. Yes. But we could have left it where it was at.
That's right.
We've done all that by lowering taxes and never raising taxes, and I think it's a huge compliment. And,
I agree.
You know, when you look, say storms or whatever, yeah, we could go out and get more help, and you know, but when you got leadership and you got magistrates that get out and work and help, I mean that's huge.
It goes a long way.
Yes, I mean
sure does.
We're all in it together.
That's right.
And tell us a little bit about what are some of the responsibilities of these magistrates, because we're going to be talking to them as we go forward. Yeah. And from your perspective, there's everybody's contested except one. So what are some things that they do on a daily, monthly, weekly basis that's important to their constituents, and kind of from your view?
Well, the main thing, they got to come to 2 court meetings a month,
Yeah.
you know, by thing. But I mean, they dictate. Like, I bring stuff to the court, but it's their job to vote on it. Now I have a vote, you know, if it needs to be or what have you. But I mean, it's their job to pass all the budgets, pay the bills, and all that. So I mean, as far as the basic stuff, but the group we have now, I think they went a step ahead of that. To be honest with you, and here's the truth. and I told them from day one, I want to set an expectation that if you run for this position, this is what expected by the people. And how we do that expectations is we lead by example. So if we start the trend that when it snows, we're all out there. If a tree falls, we go help. We set those expectations. So therefore, you know, we want qualified and good people to run for this, but we also want, it ain't just about 2 meetings a month.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, there's a bigger standard. Now, all our magistrates have jobs outside of that, by all means, but, you know, getting out in your community, traveling your roads. You know, I'm a little different. I start, well, end of February, 1st of March, I want a list of roads. You know, what roads, what shape they're in, you know, what they would recommend as far as blacktop, and then me and the road foreman go travel them. But, you know, I encourage all the magistrates, I even made a joke there, you know, if I bring something to you and I get word back that, say your district, majority of your district, it wasn't a good idea or they didn't support it, then I expect you to vote no, because we're there to represent the people. This is not Rue Elliman's agenda. This is not the 5 magistrates. We represent the people of this county. Now, I may bring an idea that Rue Elliman may think, man, this is the direction we need to go. But the community may not think that way. And we're there to represent them on all aspects, and that's what we need to do. But, yeah, I just, you know, when you look at the magistrate, there's a lot more responsibility than what there was, to be honest with you. So, and I'm not saying that in a bad way, but I think we've set expectations that this ain't just 2 days a month.
That's right.
You know,
come set a meeting.
Second Monday and last meeting, and we vote and do all that. They're out every day. They're meeting with the people, the citizens of their district, and you know, when you look at some of the taxing districts, I mean, I go to a lot of the board meetings with them. Magistrates are there. You know, I ask them to be involved. Not that we really dictate or influence anything like that. We don't control their budget by any means. I just want them to know that, hey, we're here to help if you need our help.
Right.
And if we show our face, then that means we're involved. So.
Well, and like you said, going forward, having primaries, we're going to talk to Kevin Montgomery about it later, and you know, May's coming up pretty soon. You know, so we're hoping to sit down and talk to our, you know, our setting magistrates and those folks that are trying to vying for that position going forward. But
and I think that's good, because that gets, I preached it from that transparency.
Yeah.
As long as you're honest with people and you get that information out, whether they're agree or for it or against it, they'll respect that it's out there. And I think, and that's how all the current magistrates are, and I think that's good that y'all are getting it out.
Well, I think it'll be neat, you know, because you know, a lot of times folks may not know the folks as well as they think, and we're only going to take a short time with them, but at least give them the opportunity to talk about their platform and why they want to do it.
Well, and when you speak about that, Scott and Caleb too, we've had a lot of new people move into this area. So this is a good way for them to get to know. You know, if they haven't met their magistrate or they don't know who represents their district, this is a good way for them to get familiar with them.
So when Rue played baseball, was he the leadoff hitter?
No.
Because he's the leadoff hitter here on the public square.
So here's what I tell you about Rue. Rue was a heck of a basketball player, and he was a really good shortstop. He really was a good shortstop. Now there would be some days he would you know, not be as engaged as others. As, you know,
so he could also settle
having
this
fun
debate.
with his buddies.
Scott's always told me the player with the strongest arm is the second baseman.
Always. I mean, whoever, you know, your brother will attest to it.
Okay.
The strongest arm always plays second base. I mean, that's the way it was. That's where it was. Man, thank you so much.
I appreciate
we
appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
We appreciate you coming in. This has been the Public Square here. We've had the Judge Executive Chris Rue Elliman with us, and we're looking forward to going forward here and sitting down with some magistrates and some other folks as we do go forward. And so, until next time, God bless America, and let's go Garrett County.